Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday. It's the middle of the week, and we got a lot of activity to get paid for today. Welcome this Friday. My favorite training, don't quit. Number one reason people don't make it to where they want to go is they quit. That's the only reason I think that people don't get to where they want to be is they quit. They may not even realize that they quit, but they quit. Don't quit. Learn not to quit. Come join me on Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you miss any of the trainings, as you know, Spotify features a playlist of all the trainings and all my playbooks right here. You can email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Pin below. You can join my text community, 949-298-2905. No quitters. That's right, Marco. You got it right. No quitters. This is not a place for quitters. Absolutely. Good morning. Let's take a few questions. Load them up in there. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much, Samir. Welcome and congratulations. I want to also congratulate my boy Bob Quintana with a great breakthrough as well on our coaching call today. Extraordinary news. It's amazing how quickly you can turn things around. That's why we don't quit. Just when you think you're about to, you break through, and that's it. Very, very good. Good morning. Good morning. 111, hashtag 111. That is my number. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Monster Entertain. Let's see these questions as they come in. Here we go. How do you stop comparing your journey to others? Sometimes I feel like I want to succeed only out of spite. Well, first of all, comparison will suck your soul dry. Comparison is the theft of joy. So what we want to do is look within. You cannot find outside of yourself what you can't find within yourself. So I'm comparing my baseline, my frequency to itself to determine my potential and to accelerate efficiently, effectively with statistical success, that accelerated growth that I'm looking for within myself. That which appears outside of me, I have no control of, but I control what's inside of me, which will control what's outside of me. So don't do it out of spite. Look within yourself to be your higher self, your best self, and continue to grow. What's one book every kid should read? The monster at the end of the book, Sesame Street. And realize that you are Grover. You are the monster at the end of the book. Everything that you're afraid of is you. And the best book illustrates there's nothing to be afraid of but yourself. And that's in line with what we just taught. Is having a chip on your shoulder a good thing? Depends on how you define having a chip on your shoulder. Is pursuing your potential a good thing? Yeah. And if that's what having a chip on your shoulder is, to pursue your potential and enjoy it, be a good thing. I think if having a chip on your shoulder has ego-based emotion attached to it, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, it may be a good thing to get motivated, but not to be inspired. It'll be a soul sucker for you, an energy drain, if it's an ego-based consciousness. But if it's to motivate you, all ego-based emotions, fear, etc., can motivate you. So determinative upon there. Let's go ahead. Friend Travis Mills, another motivational speaker, hacker, author, advocate for veterans and amputees. There he is. Travis, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm terrific. How are you?
Good. Should I have the phone sideways or straight up and
That's
down?
good, but just however you have it. I don't know. That looks good there, man.
Except for that blinding light behind me. I'm sorry about that. How are we doing
Yes.
today? Everybody doing all right?
It just looks like God's behind you, man. God's shining on you. It's awesome. Where are you at right now?
I am in Maine, actually, at my humble abode. Just kind of hanging out with the family and having a good time.
Yeah, man. I actually read your book a while back, As Tough as They Come, because the two things that I teach people is toughness and telephone. And, our perspective of toughness has shifted. The paradigm had moved a little bit to, a softer way of living. And I think we get less out of life if we don't push ourselves. And in order to push yourselves, you got to see mistakes, failures, pain as an indicator, not as a stop sign, not as a roadblock, and you in your book, talk about that, about being inspired through pain, through hurdles, obstacles, and you've turned those into what I call, allowances and fire. So I thought maybe give me a little bit of your story about why you wrote the book and you know what the lessons of the book you intended to be. Before you said when I just remembered Wayne Dyer. I love this story about he wrote this book, the erogenous zones, and they used it for the Iowa State test. You know the standardized test, and he ended up years later taking the test about his own book. There's 4 questions, and he missed one of them, and the one that he missed was intent of the author. So I love to ask authors, you know, what was truly your intent of the book compared to what other people may get from it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I'm not sure if your followers that are watching, you know my story in great detail. So, you know, I'm from Michigan. I joined the military at 18, and I deployed 3 times to Afghanistan. On my 3rd deployment, I stepped on or put my backpack down on a bomb. I lost both arms and legs due to it. So I got this little guy right here, and all my limbs are gone. But while I was injured in Afghanistan, I was able to make it back to the States, tell my wife she should leave me. She said, that's not how this works. We'll get through this together. And my daughter, Chloe, was 6 months old at the time. So I found my inspiration and my hope and my motivation, you know, through having my wife on my side and my daughter there. Not a lot of dads can say they actually learn how to walk with their daughter. I can. And the reason I wrote the book was when I was at Walter Reed, I became the guy everybody leaned on. I'd go room to room and visit all the new people that came in. I would be the first to tell them, hey, God doesn't hate you. You're not a bad person. You can keep pushing forward in life, and bad things happen sometimes to good people. And this isn't the end of the line for you. And I let them know like about how the prosthetics are going to work. And I wrote the book because people just were really inspired and moved by, I guess, my recovery. And they wanted to know how I did it. And, you know, stubbornness was a big key for me. And I just told myself, I made it through this. I lived. My friends didn't. Some of them didn't make it back home, and I might as well push forward. And my wife and my daughter were my driving force.
You know, when you made that decision to ask your wife to leave you, it's an interesting one, right? It's one that, looking through the psychology of, you know, is that because you want to save her the pain, or was it to punish yourself? Or, you know, looking back here now 5 years later, what do you think the psychological reason for wanting to ask her to leave you was, now that you can look back on it 5 years later?
You know, I don't want to be a burden. If you can imagine going from a 6'3", 250-pound, very athletic, very strong guy that did everything on his own, to now being a 140-pound, you know, lost 110 pounds, 3'6" guy that's laying in a hospital bed, and I have to have people feed me, have to have people help me get dressed, help me use the bathroom. And I thought, man, no way is this like what I would choose for her life. I don't want to be this burden for her or my daughter. And I mean, there was embarrassment, right, that I got hit by the Taliban. That was never supposed to happen. And the fact that I made it through, the biggest question I had when I was in the hospital in Germany 4 days after my injury, they woke me up for the very first time because they had to medically sedate me on the operating table because I kept trying to fight them and stand up. And I didn't have my right side of my body, my right arm, right leg were gone. My left leg was duct taped to my thigh. I mean, there was no getting up. And I kept saying, I got to get my feet back underneath me. Leave me alone. Quit touching me. And when I woke up, you know, I had that real Forrest Gump, you know, Lieutenant Dan moment where it's like, why didn't I just die? Like this, how is this going to be better? Not that I wished or hoped to die. It's different, you know, it's why didn't I? And once I got past the reason I didn't die, and I was able to see that I can still be an active member in society as well as an active member in my family, and still inspire and give hope and dedication or in direction to people, then I might as well do that. And I've had a very successful, you know, 8 years since the injury. We've been able to do a lot of cool things. Started a nonprofit. I got a speaking company. I own a marine on the lodge. I own a few other companies. So, you know, and that's not me. Don't take that as bragging. I just have this slogan I live by of never give up, never quit. And I look for opportunities and ways that I can just keep pushing forward. My wife would like me to probably slow down, but I think I'm doing a few more businesses pretty soon, actually.
That's awesome, man. Well, let me know how I can help with the businesses. Moreover, I'm also interested when, you know, somebody that is in you know, a wartime altercation and ends up sacrificing so much for their country, how forgiveness plays in your life. And forgiveness to me is one of the key components of my life. You know, I had a lot of Fortunately, externally they didn't affect me at all, but internally, I've had a lot of things that I've had to forgive. Because it's damaged, it's abused. I've had my own bombs gone off for things that have happened to me emotionally, and forgiveness is a key to healing. How, in what role does forgiveness play for you? Because I'd be pretty effing bitter, if
Yeah.
if that happened to me.
I mean, I'm definitely, I don't think I'll ever forgive the Taliban. But
Yeah.
it's not like I didn't, have the ability to do my fair share of, what happened to me to them. And the truth is, you just accept and move on. I live by 2 life lessons, and every time I go and speak around the nation, I tell them the first thing is, number one, don't dwell on the past, just reminisce it. Right. I mean, I had 25 years of arms and legs. That was phenomenal. I had one bad day at work. And now I've had 8 years that, I've been able to do a lot of cool things. I mean, I learned how to use my prosthetic arm within 5 weeks so I could drive, or I feed myself. I could get dressed by myself, I got my legs just shy of 2 months. I was walking again. I drive. I do basically anything I want to do. Like after this, I got to go to my foundation office and then my marina office. Like I have a full slate ahead of me. And that's just how I look at, my situation. No matter how many times I was in my hospital bed and I closed my eyes and I would hope and I'd wish and I'd pray this never happened. And I'd ask, how do I go back in time? Every time I opened my eyes up, I realized I was not going back in time. I was not going to get my arms and legs back. So the big thing for me was, why dwell on it? Just reminisce and go. The next thing I tell people is you can't always control your situation, but you can always control your attitude. And, my situation doesn't change. In the morning, I wake up, no arms and legs on. I jump from my bed to my wheelchair. I put my arm on, off the charger, and I go downstairs and get my coffee ready. My wife's coffee ready. My son is milk. We have a 3-year-old now. My son, was able to have him, and my wife, Wes is great. And my daughter's 9. So I take her to school and we go about our day. Last night I took her, gymnastics. So there's 2 ways I could have went. And everybody knows that, right? There's always 2 choices basically. There's probably more, but the whole good and bad or whatever. For me, sitting there in my hospital bed, I realized that I need to think about perspective, right? Yes, this sucks. I have no arms and legs. That's awful. But my good friends didn't make it back home and left behind their spouses and left behind their children and their loved ones. And I personally think it'd be a selfish slap in the face to them and their sacrifice if I gave up on myself. Because, my buddy Frankie, who didn't make it back home, he'd give anything to be here. His wife would give anything to have him, in my situation even, and his daughter to understand why her dad can't come home. And his mother wants just one more conversation. She'll never get that. But I think for their sacrifice, I'm going to go forward and always be positive, as well as the doctors and nurses. I mean, let's just sit here and recap. I had 9 doctors and 7 nurses working on me for 14 hours straight. And 2 nurses for 9 hours pumped air out of my lungs. They took turns. They could have loosened 1 tourniquet and I would have been done, but instead they gave me over 400 units of blood, which is the most blood ever given in Afghanistan at that time. And, they just didn't quit on me. So I got to meet 6 of the 9 doctors, and they kept, weeks up to the event I went to with them. They were saying, hey, are you mad or angry, upset? Is he going to be, upset that we saved his life and made him live like this? And I broke down and said, hey guys, thanks so much. Like, I really appreciate the fact I get to be here, with you, saying thanks for not giving up on me. Thanks for pushing through those 14 hours and getting me stable but critical but stable condition,
Dude, I'm tearing up because I'm doing a training on this Friday about quitting, and I was saying only one reason you don't make it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. It wasn't just you quitting, right? Nobody quit on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And when I was blown up, I hit the ground, I rolled over, and my medic came up to me, and I told him, don't worry about it, save my guys. Because in my head, I wasn't going to make it. I've seen a lot of guys what I thought had lesser injuries die. So I was just telling myself, stay calm, don't show any fear, because I always exuded confidence. And the movie Saving Private Ryan kept flashing in my head, right? The medic gets shot in the stomach, cries out for his mom, ultimately dies. And I'm like, man, I do not want anybody's last memory of me to be that. So I was just like, whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. And my medic ignored that. And my platoon sergeant got tourniquets on me within 20 seconds and 30 seconds. And then while they're working on me, I had my left hand still. So I reached up to the microphone and I called my LT and I said, hey, 6, this is 4. I need your medic with mine. I got guys injured. So I was still calling people in.
Wow. Yeah, well, it's all perspective, and you got the best one I've seen in the universe, and God is rewarding you. And congratulations on the wonderful life you're leading and inspiring so many more people not to quit. And no matter what happens in your life, it's a turn signal, and you've moved in the right direction to a better situation and made your situation better, which is why I respect and honor you. And thank you for your service most of all. I know nowadays not everybody recognizes the sacrifices and investment that other people make in our country for our freedom and the right to vote, by the way. So we appreciate you, especially me. Thank you so much. And where can people find you? Buy your book, find you, hire you to speak, inspire others.
Yeah, absolutely. So travismills.org has everything you're going to need there. You'll find my website that has my foundation or my speaking stuff set on there. And on my social handle, or social media handles, it's at SSG Travis Mills. I appreciate the follow, the likes, the shares, and I appreciate your time. Hope you have a wonderful day.
You too, man. Come join me again. Congrats. Take
Yeah.
care.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. All right. There's a true hero. Travis Mills, not only a hero for our country, but a hero for his family and for society. It's a testament. If you're sitting at home depressed, anxious, frustrated because of COVID or finances or God knows what, I got a couple people around me that, get all in the morning all worried and anxious. Think about that next time, right? Think about what perspective can do for you. So change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You can cut off the arms, the legs, as long as your heart is beating. Guy has businesses, houses, family, had a new baby. Unbelievable. All that would have been missed if he didn't have the perspective that he has. Thank you to the doctors, the medics, the nurses, all the first responders who didn't give up on him as well. I think that was an important part of the story. All right, let's take some more questions. Remember, Friday's training is just about Travis Mills. Don't quit, no matter what happens. Nothing stands between you and what you want except for quitting. How do you keep the confidence in yourself to keep going? Practice, practice. Clarity, balance, and focus provide confidence. Clarity, balance, and focus is achieved through practice. Consistent, persistent behavior every day, knowing that you're pursuing your potential and enjoying it to get better. And the only way we get better is to practice. The conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum, working within the context of continual behavior, habits, discipline, strategy in order to do things every single day to create the exponential results that you want. But you got to practice. You got to do it every day. Practice, practice, practice. Practice ending fear. Practice being a student in your calendar. Practice doing it now. Practice asking. Asking, do you know anyone that could help me? Asking, do you know how I can be of service or value? Practice taking inventory of your values. Practice gratitude. Practice forgiveness. Practice accountability. Practice living a life of inspiration connected to the greatest source of power, light, and love, and lessons and everything else that's connected to you. Practice, practice, practice. I hope you got that answer. Here we go. Mind talking about the power of having a why and a what. No, I don't mind. What provides the why, not the why, the what, right? You can know why you want to do something, but you got to know what you want to do. The easiest way to get to where you want to go is to find someone that sits in that space that has the situational knowledge experience that you want and ask them for directions, ask them for help. You got to take inventory of your values every day to know your what. Your why will be applied to your what, but if you don't know your what, you ain't getting anybody or anywhere. So know your what, the why will be applied. How do you start your day? Meditation every day, 20 minutes at my highest frequency. As an entrepreneur, do you consider your family as strength or weakness? Next to my health, my family is my number one strength. My first strength is my own health. I can't take care of others unless I take care of myself. The second one is my family. So I see everything as a strength. If it makes an appearance as a weakness, then I move it to a different place. It's the place that determines the strength, not the thing. All things put into a different place will be strong. All things put into a different place will be strong. So, for example, my body type was a form of weakness on the football field at 5'7", 147 pounds, big upper body and little legs. But it's perfect. It's a huge strength when I fly 200 days a year on airplanes for the rest of my life. As though, all those years on the football field, I saw my size and my shape as a weakness. It's actually a huge strength. Move your weaknesses to a new place. Give it a new destination, a new address, and you'll find that that weakness becomes strength very, very quickly. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get some more questions going. Just want to say thank you for all your giving your time and wisdom to others. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for recognizing that, and it's good to hear from you. Uh, Great to see things are going so well for you. Hi, that is not a question, but please, uh, there's no voting left. All right, everybody, let's get help. Hold on, sorry. I'm getting a lot of politics in here. All right, can you explain the difference between confidence and ego? Yeah, absolutely. So ego edges goodness out of your life. Confidence allows inspiration to come into it. Ego is the E for employment status. Most people define themselves by what they do. The G is for what you get. Most people define themselves by how much money they have or what they have. And O, what other people think. Most people define themselves by not what they think of themselves, what confidence they have that allows that inspiration, allows things to come through you in a world of more than enough, an abundant world of everything, but instead what other people think, a limiting belief, a limiting ordinary life of other people's wishes upon you. Not bad wishes, but other people, what they think of you and limit you. You live a life in between infinity and limitlessness. Ego and confidence are almost polar opposites. Ego is what gets in your way. Confidence what allows the inspiration in. Please use confidence, not ego. How to get people to trust your project after bankruptcy. One, credibility, illuminate the fact right away that you were bankrupt and then tell the lessons that you learned. Tell what you liked about it, didn't like about it. Find the emotional connection of everyone. Allow them to see similar experiences that were synergistic or supplementary and how. Cliff calling me. But I'm live, Sean. If you haven't checked out Cali Barbecue, go ahead and do so. Um, and then if you get alignment that people are okay with the fact that you learn lessons by losing everything or claiming bankruptcy and utilize the emotional connection, you probably sit in a better situation with more credibility. But do not hide any of the deficiencies that you may have had in the past, mistakes you made, failures, the lessons that you've learned to attach to those. Make sure you illuminate those and allow people. The last thing you want to do is to get engaged and to hide things and then have those things come out. Remember, credibility is the number one thing. If you're 100% credible, then people do everything that you ask. In order to be credible, you got to tell people the truth. You got to illuminate the strengths and weaknesses of your business and yourself and the lessons that you've learned and allow people to make a decision to be comfortable with who you are and what you do. Any books you recommend right now? I always recommend Think and Grow Rich, Power of Intention, Course in Miracles. Uh, those are my go-to everyday books that I read. I read so many Game Changer, Leading with Gratitude. Looking over all my books I'm reading right now. 7 Days in Augusta. I just got behind the scenes at the Masters. But my core books are Think and Grow Rich, Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention, and of course, Course in Miracles. As a Man Thinketh. Awesome. All very, very good. What is the best way to kill fear to reach your goals? Well, we want to practice ending fear. And the best way to do that is to be a ferocious Buddha. You want to stop, drop, and roll. One, you got to make a practice of identifying when you're in ego-based consciousness, notating the primal fears that Freud talks about, as well as the secondary fears that exist, knowing exactly what those are, to stop, drop, and roll, to identify one, then stop. Don't try to resist it. Don't try to move in a different direction or push against it. Just stop, analyze it, then breathe, get back to center, a higher frequency, hopefully a baseline that you created during the day, during your meditation, and then most importantly, move with velocity towards what you want. Colleen, can you reach out to Sean Waltek? He pinged me. I don't know what he needs there. Who am I looking for now? Rembrandt. I thought I saw you. Are you here, my friend? I'd love to get you on with me. Yeah, hey, there he is. Perfect. Rembrandt Flores at Rembrandt, CEO at Entertainment Fusion Group. There he is. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
You're sitting on the edge of your bed, just waiting to talk to me.
No, I'm in the office.
Oh, nice.
I actually changed my trainer to afterwards. So I said like, hey, I have to be live with David Meltzer. So can you train me afterwards instead of my usual 8:30? So I'm gonna do a 9:30 session instead.
That's awesome, man. That's called an adaptable routine, right? Prioritizing
Correct.
your health,
That's exactly what it
making
is.
sure when you got something important, like joining me, which is such a blessing to have you on, man. I really wanted to get into kind of how you run your campaigns, what you've learned on the marketing aspect in the digital sense, because so many people are trying to do what you do and need your help. So I thought giving a little bit of insight on the nuances that you've learned and some of the secrets to marketing ourselves today.
Exactly. So I run an agency called Entertainment Fusion Group out here in Los Angeles, and we work with brands. And the pivot has really been in this pandemic is that we need more digital. We thought that business was going to subside, but it's actually grown 200%. And I think we're trying to figure out how to get the brands through the noise because now everyone's going digital. So how do you set yourself apart when everyone's going digital, right? So a lot of the campaigns we've done lately in the last 3 months had to do a lot of influencer outreach as well as celebrities. So we're actually trying to bring in more influencers off TikTok, off Instagram, off Snapchat. TikTok's been a huge explosion for us in terms of trying to get these influencers to do campaigns with our brands. And we think that it's working. And I think the reason why it's working is because more people are spending more time on these platforms because they're home, because of the pandemic, because not everyone's allowed to still go to, school or work. So it's proven to be really successful for all our companies and campaigns. And now it's like thinking, okay, so how long is this going to go? Is this going to be a trend forever? Is this going to go into 2021? Is this going to go for 2022? And I think it is. A lot of people are saying like, we need to figure this out. We need to absolutely spend more money on digital, spend more money on influencer campaigns, spend more money on celebrity partnerships. And again, because there's a lot of influencers out there now, everyone's an influencer now. And there's a lot of celebrities always, and a lot of celebrities who are not quote unquote working their traditional jobs. So they're coming to me now and go like, hey, do you have anything for me? I have agents and managers and publicists saying like, hey, do you have anything for my clients? Because they're not working per se. So it's been really, really interesting. And I didn't think that we're going to be in this place in November, the day after the election, but here we are. And we're trying to make it work for everyone. And again, to break through the noise in this sort of new normal of way of life of being all on digital now, it's really fascinating for me because I didn't think we were going to get here really fast. But I think because of the pandemic, now it's sort of sped up like what was going to happen in 5 years or 10 years is happening, at the tail end here of 2020.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing is I saw this progression happening as I saw, over 50% of our employment force by 2027 was supposed to be freelancers or remote workers. And that happened in 2020 in 7 months, not 7 years. Well, the same thing happened with digital marketing. My background is, in that transference in the early 90s from, true traditional marketing to internet marketing to wireless marketing to digital marketing as a full force over literally now it's been almost 30 years. And one thing that holds true that I see you doing at Fusion is quality content. So, it doesn't matter, whether the Mickey Mouse Club was in black and white television on one of the 3 stations available, or whether it has 470 million downloads on YouTube. It's a really good idea. It's a really good content. And as noisy as, from the I think it was 40s or 20s when Mickey Mouse was whistling on Steamboat Willie, as much noise that has been created over the last 100 years for Mickey Mouse, he seems to have survived. And he still stands out because I'd love to have those 470 million downloads for a Dave Meltzer video. So he must have some seriously good content. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we need to focus in with the brands on quality content. But how are you dealing? One of the things that I do differently, how are you dealing with the mix of traditional with digital? Meaning, do you still think it's important to have a billboard on the 405 that you then can video capture, amplify, perpetuate in digital? Or are we letting go of the radio, TV, print, and billboard type of marketing that can be amplified and just strictly going directly to TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn?
I think it really depends on who you're marketing to, right? So if you're marketing toward Gen Z only, I really don't think you need to go traditional at all. That, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But if your product, like say for example, I have a product which is a CBD product, Altwell CBD, and they're targeting women between the ages of 30 and 60. So because of that, I would never recommend them just to do digital, right? With the digital, you are definitely going to get the Gen Z and then get the millennials, of course. But if you're going to get the Gen X and older, I think you still need traditional. So for them, we're still doing print. We're doing, like, I know for a fact this fall, we're going to do a print campaign, holiday gift guides, whatever, in traditional print. We're still going to do some sort of traditional advertising as you recommended, either billboards or any of that kind of stuff. So it has to be a mix. And it just really depends on who your core audience is and who your core customer you think is. So I think that's going to determine if you're just going to go strictly digital or do a mix. But absolutely, unless your entire base is an older demographic, then I don't think spending 100% of your money on traditional is the way to go. Because I think that even my parents, who are 70 years old, spend more time on digital now, believe it or not. Because I asked them, like, what do you do all day? They're like, we're on Facebook. And I'm like, you're on Facebook all day? Yes. We watch TV, or we're on Facebook. And I'm like, wow. And these are my 70-year-old parents who live in Las Vegas. And I went to visit them recently, and I saw it in person. I was like, they're always on Facebook, which is
It's
crazy
so cool
to me.
Yeah, and I think that's cool because, I always say 100%, almost 100% of the kids that are 15 and under are using digital, right? 100%.
100%.
So the growth is just when they get their first phone or first computer or first iPad.
Yeah.
That's the only growth. Where I see huge money being made with brands and where I'm focusing in my own brand is that, I'm 52 years old. I think there's about 20% of the people my age or older that are utilizing in any form digital right now.
Yeah.
But yet, in the next 10 years, it's going to grow exponentially. But what makes my audience different than a TikTok audience is that, you have TikTok guys that'll Venmo $1 or $3 or buy a bracelet or a Kim Kardashian, skincare or lipstick.
Yeah.
But my audience, 52 and over, they'll buy houses, cars, $100 million investment. Like, there's real big deals to be made, and there's a huge audience to be gained. So if you're, one of the big four accounting firms, you don't see a lot right now because of compliance. But I think in the next 10 years, all the compliance issues with bank, financial services, financial planning that have restricted these people from doing things on digital because the audience wasn't there, it's going to become a necessity. And you're going to start seeing some traditional brands hitting digital really hard. And if I were you, I'd make sure that you keep building that brand within the context of the younger people on TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn. Yeah. But keep your eye on the big money, because the big money always plays hardest. And when the big money comes in, the game's going to change, and that's what I'm preparing for.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish, though, from and explain to a brand? Because I get into this conversation. They're like, oh, we want to put our product on TikTok. I'm like, don't. Those kids aren't going to understand your product, right? Put it on LinkedIn. Yeah, but LinkedIn's too expensive. Like, yeah, it's expensive for a reason.
Exactly. The reason is because there's big money on LinkedIn. All those people have lots of money. So you need to spend the money to make the money. That's how the world works.
It's a vending machine, right? It's a vending machine, and you're the best. And you're the best mechanic of the vending machine. That's really our job, and you do such a great job of it. Is, look, you give me this much money, I'm gonna put it through the vending machine on the appropriate place, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. And guess what? This margin is how I make my money. You're gonna make more money, so let me put you in the right place with the right content, and it's perpetual. It's gonna keep on growing for you. Exactly. Last piece of advice while I let you go. What's the one best lesson you've learned in digital marketing so far?
The last thing is that do not force a square into a round hole. So that's my advice to you when it comes to digital marketing, because a lot of people, like you said, they say like, hey, we're this brand and we want to be on TikTok. Can you create us a viral TikTok dance? I'm like, how does your brand make sense to make a digital, to make a dance on TikTok? Your brand is not a dance on TikTok, and it won't be. So why are you forcing that? But, well, everyone else is doing it. That doesn't mean that you should do it. So that's my piece of advice, is that you need to think. These people are not stupid. The people on TikTok are not stupid. They know real versus fake. They know forced versus not forced. So you have to be really true to your brand. So can we go viral on TikTok without being a dance? Yes. As we saw that with Doggy Face and Ocean Spray, right?
Yeah.
No one could have predicted that. No one could predict that. Ocean Spray didn't buy that. It just happened to be he was skateboarding with Fleetwood Mac and happened to be drinking cranberry juice. And that's it. And you can't create that. That's viral because it was just natural. And everyone knows it's natural. And that's why it raked in 100 million views, right?
You got it. And I keep posting my own frequency, and some of it works, and I never know what's going to work, but I always suggest to keep posting your frequency, your peg. You'll find the right hole eventually because it has such great reach.
Yeah.
Hey, man, Rembrandt, you're doing a great job. They can find you at Rembrandt. Where can they find the Entertainment Fusion Group? So
they can go on Instagram at EFGPR. And again, find me at Rembrandt, as you know. And then I have a TikTok show, David. So they can watch my TikTok talk show where I interview CEOs, celebrities, and whatnot at 1MWR. And 1MWR stands for 1 Minute with Rembrandt. So watch 1 Minute with Rembrandt on TikTok and watch me make
You'll put Dave Meltzer on there for a quick 1 minute interview?
Yes. We're going to get you on there.
All right. I got to build my TikTok, man. I'm a little behind the 8 ball. Thank you so much.
Of course. Anytime.
You got it. Take care, Rembrandt.
Bye.
Check out the Entertainment Fusion Group. Rembrandt, these guys know their stuff. And check out his show, 1 Minute with Rembrandt. Go ahead. You'll love it. I'm going to go on there and give my 1 minute of expertise, whatever that's worth. Wow, we got a very active day. A lot of activity to get paid for. Let's take one more question. Remember, Friday's training is on Don't Quit. So please make sure that you join us. If you miss it, as always, the replays are on Spotify, featured there. They're on Entrepreneur, featured there. Every single platform available to you. Please join me every Friday. If not, watch the replays. If you haven't got my exercises, guides, books for free, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Any of them, pitch competition, the ultimate ego training, don't quit, whatever it is, just go ahead. How to close a deal. I've done 20 years of trainings, all available for you, to you. Let's make this happen. Last question, real quick. How do I remind myself to keep perspective when going through a stressful situation? Stop, drop, and roll. It's a practice. You're going to remind yourself, that it's a practice. And so you just continually get better every day. Try to remember, quicker, that you just stop when you're anxious, frustrated, angry, separated, inferior, superior. Just stop, breathe, put yourself into a peaceful place, and then roll towards what you want. Don't waste any energy. If you're young, man, I wish I could take back every ounce of energy, money, resources that I've wasted with worrying alone, or the need to be right or offended. Just those alone, millions and millions of dollars, thousands and thousands of hours, all wasted. Everybody, don't waste anything, and definitely don't quit. Come visit me Friday, free training, 11 a.m. Pacific, david@dmeltzer.com. You can join me for free. 949-298-2905. It's pinned below, 949-298-2905. Join my text community. Join me for free. Get my exercises, my guides, my training, my books. I'll sign one and pay for shipping and send it to you. Just reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you missed anything, give me a ring. Let's make this happen. Bonnie, great to see you coming on there as well. Hola, everyone. Anyway, Friday training. Most importantly, everyone, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you to my great guests, Travis Mills and Rembrandt. We'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow.